All right, we've got a big reading today. Welcome back to Neptune Fish Tarot. I'm going to be doing our reading for the full moon coming up on August 22nd. It's going to actually culminate at 12:01 GMT. So if you are in North America, you can expect that to be someplace between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., 10 a.m., somewhere right in that window there. We have a powerful, powerful message today. I've invited the Archangel Metatron into our reading today for sure, and I'm just going to get straight into the reading. I want to start with the two oracle cards that I always pull for lunation, so whether it's a full moon or a new moon, I always pull one each from Moonology and from the, what's it called, the Blackmoon Astrology deck. Sorry, I can never remember the name of those. I only use them primarily during lunations. So, all right, first thing is, and this really does actually encapsulate the whole entire message, is that we are coming to the end of a tough cycle. And then for the Black Moon, we had the Sun, the number 1 card, come out. So this is really powerful. And again, this is happening at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So that means that the Sun is at 29 degrees of Leo that day. And will be going the following day into the 1st degree of Leo, or into the 1st degree of Virgo, sorry. So at 29 degrees, you know, in astrology, 29 degrees is just, I mean, there's been a lot said about 29 degrees, right? Because you have this intensity, you have all of the power of the sign coming to a head at that degree. And so there's something really, really powerful about this full moon. And also, to repeat what others you've probably heard, this is the second full moon that we're getting in the sign of Aquarius. So the last full moon that we had, which was at the end of July, was at 1 degree of Aquarius. And so there's likely to have been a lot of progression over the last 4 weeks. And now we're coming into what really is a releasing and like starting a new phase. And I mean, yes, all full moons are that, right? That's what they are. It's like if you go into these 4-week cycles, you know, on a micro level, it's about checking in every time we have a lunation and saying, okay, where am I within the smaller cycle? You know, what events have unfolded in my life? What's the energy surrounding me at this time? And then sort of setting an intention, though. So there's something very deliberate about this, that and I think that this reading in particular is really tapping into, there's something in particular about this cycle where I feel like we really do need to get clear. This full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. It really does speak to needing to release a certain particular something. So think for yourself what it is that you're sort of grappling with right now. Like, what sort of tough energy is in front of you at the moment? You know, work, relationships, internal conflicts, you know, family, kids, projects, usually something to do with our relationships with others, though, just because they're mirrors of sort of what's going on within ourselves, right? And then kind of going into this number 1 Sun Spirit card, this is really understanding that, you know, that this card came out for a full moon reading. It's like the universe really wants to emphasize to us that we truly are the power. Like, we're the power source, the generator, the creator, the designer. of everything that sort of comes in and out. We really do have the ability to create, right, with the sun, to create this next phase, this next cycle, whatever's on the horizon. So if you set your intention to let go, because the other thing is you're going to have to power through it. So there's another message with these cards. This isn't going to be easy either. Capricorn is the mountain goat, and Capricorn is probably the most, I would say, diligent sign. They're extremely nose to the grindstone. I have a lot of Capricorns in my life. Think about if you do know some Capricorns. Some of their qualities, I've never met a Capricorn that isn't super tenacious, right? That isn't super, like, when it comes down to it, like, you can really rely on the energy of Capricorn. They're going to grind through. And there's a lot here in this reading about really needing to grab a hold of that energy. And again, with the lunation being at 29 degrees, it's the critical degree. This is the critical decision point. This is the critical turning point. We're coming into where, like, all of the major planets are going to be in retrograde. And we're coming into, because we're in a Saturn-Uranus square all year, but particularly right now, we're in phase 2 of that. There's going to need to be a grit and a determination to make it through this next phase, because we can't predict, we cannot see what's coming. It's impossible at this time. There is something where in this message, we're going to have to dig really, really deep into this belief that we have within our spirit, that we have within ourselves this connection to the divine, to the universe, that we have what it takes to move kind of blindly into this next phase. There's something very critical that is about to present itself to each one of us in a different format, in a different way, right? Some of us may feel it more acutely than others, but it's going to be present for each person regardless of how it is felt and in what area of life it is felt. There's a decision that we need to make at this time, again, about trusting the universe to bring us, everything that we're going to need to move forward, but then also trusting in ourselves to meet the challenge, to meet it head on with this very certain faith that everything is going to work out. So the next thing I want to do is we're going to come down here to these oracle messages, because these messages are they're so coherent, cohesive. I don't know what the right word is. They're so in alignment. This whole reading is a very, very, it's succinct, okay? From the Archangel Metatron deck, we had the last card, card 55, red, which is all about tapping into the base chakra, the red aura, which talks of safety, strength, and power. And I'm going to read something from that, but I just want to go around. I'm going to do a little bit of reading in this section. So I may go ahead and timestamp this for anybody who doesn't want to hear what the oracles have to say, because I'm going to read them. And then we had from the Wisdom for Healing cards, Relinquish Control. We had from Wisdom of the Oracle, Time to Go and Time for a Nap. All Father Time, that's very Saturnian, right? Time cards. And then from the Herbal, what is it called? The Magical Herb Oracle. I'm not good with names, you guys. We had expansion. So this really is, there is like a dual energy going on here. There's that releasing with the full moon and letting go. And then there's just this really, really, really potent number one expansion energy. Really, really strong, and it's going to continue throughout the reading. So let's first take a look at this Metatron card. And I'm actually going to put the book right here so you can see what I'm looking at. It's a huge message. Card 55 holds a master number vibration in the energy of the red ray. That's the card. And then it says, the last card in the deck, red grounds, anchors, encourages, and supports you now. You may have been feeling tired, depleted, unconfident, demotivated, or lacking direction. Red light comes to energize, warm, and stir you back to life. Red is the shortest wave of light and most earthly of all the colors. Emerging from this, an ancient elder comes before you who has seen everything and understands the ways of the land and its people. He's here to teach you as he has learned to master the potent forces of red and use it for good in the world. He stands on red sacred earth, able to feel his bloodline going back through generations, healed and whole. He will show you how to lead, show courage, and face whatever is there to challenge or belittle or derail you. He asks you to stand in your own power and be sure of a solid foundation and safety while others around you may feel scattered and fearful. His energy of strength and determination is here for you now, for you have called him, and he works alongside Metatron as a bridge between the angelic and shamanic worlds. Red needs mastering so that no blood needs to be spilled and no more sacrifices made. The time for peace, not war, is needed. No more fighting over territory, possessions, or what someone else has. He makes us look at where we may still have parts of this that need healing within ourselves and in our family line. His gaze scans the horizon to see any danger, alerting you and protecting you at all times, standing guard over you. He also makes those who wish to hurt another look to their own issues and repels negativity back to the sender. He offers the pipe of peace to you now. Whatever you're struggling with, any negativity that you feel, he says to you that there's another way. To own the realm of red energy as he does requires great spirit. He has truly made peace. The realm of red energy. He has truly made peace with the earth and all upon it. Nothing can shock him, deter him, or hurt him. Feel his energy now. Here is your helper for all that you may struggle with concerning base chakra issues: health, safety, finances, relationships, and security. His presence here may also imply that there are energies of anger, frustration, greed, or lust around you, and if so, again, let him help master lower energies and feel instead for the best that red embodies: conviction, leadership, passion, and strength, to name a few. As you embrace the learning of the red ray, he assures you that nature can provide all your needs and that respect for the earth brings her love back to you tenfold. So that's really super powerful. So there is something incredibly strong going on with this lunation. So next, I really want to get right into this relinquish control card. So on the back, there's actually today's lesson. Identify one person you feel the need to control and think about why that power is so essential to you. What do you fear if your hold is released? Your goal: to recognize how much stress is generated in your body through the need to control someone else. So with all full moons, again, we do have that releasing energy. I think that's backed up very nicely here with time for a nap and time to go. So there is a situation in your life that I feel like you're going to need to let go of. And I think we'll get into the tarot message that it'll speak to that a little bit more. And I also read this, though, as it's time to get going, right? So I think that there is a time for resting and there's a time for solitude, right? And keeping to ourselves. And then after that time, I think there's a time to take action and there's a time to get going in a new direction. 45, 4 plus 5 is 9. So I would say during this full moon, as with all full moons, I think it's wise for us to maybe take some pen to paper, maybe write down a couple few, 5, 10, whatever you're feeling called to do, intentions about like what isn't working for you, what do you just really need to like release, honestly, like what do you need to release, and then what do you want to embrace, like where is it that you want to be, so that you can take the next 4-week cycle and really step into this power, right? And really step into this power of healing, and then finally of expansion. And so I also am going to speak on this number 20 ephedra card. And 20, that's 2 plus 0 is 2. We're talking about partnership here. So partnership, in coming into an alignment within ourselves, expanding within ourselves, and then being able to align with others once we do that. And so also I'm going to read from this book, which I normally do because it always has something really great. There is an opportunity for development and even the end of challenges that may have been difficult. It's time to look for a new direction or to examine more closely any possibilities that have presented themselves to you. Change is coming, but it may be more demanding than you anticipate until you get your bearings. There may be a betrayal that's very hard to accept and may actually come as a shock. If you've been suffering in any way from any challenge, there's a reminder to stop stewing in your anger, sadness, or grief, and that now is the time to move on. I have chills, right? Time to go. The end of a tough cycle approaches. And so let's just go and get right into the tarot message. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Fool, moving on, taking that trust fall off the precipice into something brand new, having that faith, and releasing 3 of Swords, that heartbreak, heartache. And we see that the first cards out of the deck was the Ten of Swords in the Tower. And here it is from that expansion cards. You may be shocked to find that there's something that you were not expecting that brings you to the end, right? It could be a relationship. It really could. It could be a job. It could be a relationship with an employer, with a lover, with a family member. You may suddenly find yourself having to move out of your home. There's something that's going to come in and it's going to crack it right down to the foundation. And this is where really needing to draw on strength, and a belief that starting again is actually going to put you on a different path, on a new path, on a path that perhaps will be more stable. The second card is this 5 of Swords, and here we see the conflict, right? And we do see clarified by the Queen of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles. And so in order for you to come into your own prosperity and your own abundance, yes, there's going to be a conflict. It could be within you, it could be outside of you, but we do see you having the wise counsel of the Queen of Swords. This is an energy where we come into harmony in our thoughts, right? Because this is all swords energy. We come into an equilibrium, into a balance. We know intuitively, as a queen would know intuitively, what needs to be cut out. And we start to look at, we're an entity unto ourselves. This is pre-Empress energy, 9 of Pentacles, coming into an abundance, into an understanding, like a very feminine space of understanding what it is that needs to be released and needs to be walked away from, right? And here we go. Now we start to get into more feminine energy. We've got the Queen of Wands, and I love in this deck, by the way, this is the Crow Tarot. I I've had it for a while, and I just started to really, I don't know, like feel it and resonate with it. I don't know if anybody else out there uses this deck, but I'm starting to fall in love with it. I love that there are two lions and the sun on top, which is very different from other Queen of Wands cards, is it not? And because we are, again, this lunation is at 29 degrees, the sun is at 29 of Leo, I love that the Queen of Wands showed up here. And she's saying, look, there is a new opportunity to begin again, to repair your emotions. This Ace of Cups. Okay, yeah, no, that's the other card. Okay, so this Ace of Cups is clarifying this Queen of Wands, and this is really taking back your power. Leo is such a powerful, and so tied and tapped into that spirit, to that Sun card. It really does illuminate for us. It brings us into a new path. It brings us, it gives us a new perspective. It sheds light on, it just illuminates all of this old stuff. And again, it's shocking, right? When you get a Tower and a Ten of Swords, it's totally unexpected. It's not what you thought was going to happen. You didn't see it coming. You didn't see, this is like somebody who has really done you dirty, or you're thinking, initially at least, you're thinking, well, what in the world? Like, where did this even come from? And again, I just want to say, because of the astrology, expect the unexpected, right? But also with the Fool being the overall energy, there's something about really trusting and having faith in what's going on right now. We're at a very, very pivotal moment in our evolution. And there is something new on the horizon. You're at the very, very beginning stages of sort of grabbing a hold of this Ace of Cups, right? And I love that they put a cup of coffee on the Ace of Cups, because who doesn't love to sit and dream about all of the possibilities over a morning cup of coffee? But you're a double Leo. This is like all of the Leo power. This is all of the strength, right? The safety, the strength, and the power. I feel like that is a beautiful illustration of the Queen of Wands. And boom, we have the Page of Swords clarified by the Empress. So this is really just starting to be willing to start over again, right? To come into an alignment to this real power. Empress is a very powerful feminine energy. This is you really tapping into like your divinity, to your ties in with the universe, with source, and be willing to get clarity, to receive clarity from this Empress, right? Who you are, what you deserve, right? What hasn't served you, or what didn't turn out the way that you thought, and be willing with this Page of Swords to sort of start anew, right? To be willing to hear and to receive, I think, the information. As shocking and as life-altering as it may be, do what you can to be open to receive it, so that you can transmute it, so that you can move on from it. And we had that go right into the Empress, Major Arcana. So we had the Empress show up twice, right? And clarified by the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups. Yeah, there's going to be a need here to really, really transmute all of this inner conflict and all of this disappointment. And it is disappointing. When you get a message like this, there's just something that's really, really being transformed within us. And, the universe has got you on this one, though. I mean, this is, between these two cards here. Again, I won't go over the Empress, but it's a double Empress. It's a double Empress. It's really grabbing a hold of that divinity within you, that creativity, that ability to make worlds, right? To create worlds. And to begin again. We then have the Queen of Pentacles, clarified by the Ten of Pentacles. So this is the beginning of a new cycle. This really is going from this Nine of Pentacles down into this Ten of Pentacles. So the Queen, again, a very stable, I love the Queen of Pentacles. This is an energy of bringing you into a solid place, right? Where you're able to attract to you the abundance, the prosperity, the all of the things into your physical reality that are going to allow you to move forward confidently, right? And know that you're on the right path, that the next leg of the journey is leading you to a very balanced and a very harmonious place. Because then we have the Two of Cups, clarified by Six of Cups in the World, and I just want to go to the end, and then to the Lovers, clarified by Hermit, and we have the Fool showing up a second time. So a ton of major arcana. So this is really, really, this is divinely planned, and I know some people don't like the word divine, but it is. This really tells me that this is all by design. This is part of the journey. It's part of your evolution. It's part of your expansion, right? It's Six of Cups with the World. It's really coming to the end of the cycle. It's releasing the old way of going about things, the old way of feeling, the old way of relating to others. That's about to wrap up, because there is something new on the horizon, and it is going to bring you into this divine, if this is a relationship, I mean, usually we take the Lovers and the Two of Cups in relationship readings, right? We say, well, I mean, this is like getting rid of some old crusty, not for you person so that the one that's meant for you can come in. I mean, yeah, you can take it that way if you're here because, if your intention that you're setting with these moon cycles is to bring in your divine partner, then you're on your way, right? That's what this means. Clarified by the Hermit and the Fool. So there is a time for introspection, okay? And I equate that with this time for a nap card, right? It's like taking a time out every day. Are you attending to your spiritual practice? Are you taking time in solitude? Are you going into the quiet space? And, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, though 10 minutes actually is probably preferable, so that you can receive your guidance, right, on how to move forward, on how to go forward, even if the guidance is nothing more than reassuring you that you're on the right track, that this is all according to plan. It's all unfolding according to the plan that you came into your incarnation with. There is healing, there is expansion, there is growth, and there's sort of like a creative component to all of this, right? You're here to allow what you can't see coming yet, but you're allowing it to come in. You're allowing it to sort of, even if we're not conscious, even if it's just underneath the surface still, right? It's this whole thing of, and I love that there's, look at another lion in this deck. This is really healing your heart. This is really expanding your heart chakra energy, is how I read this. So that you can move into this next phase, as the lover, within yourself, right, as the lover, into a harmonious place. And I think once you align within yourself at this point, you're ready to attract all of the good stuff, right? You're in a space mentally, emotionally, and spiritually where you just starting to manifest like crazy time, right? So let's just review. The overall messages here are there's a time for setting intention. There's a time for connecting in with spirit, right? There's a time for trust and faith. There's going to be a period of time where you're going to have to allow and embrace this transition, this tower. And then just sort of understanding that it's all by design, right? It's all happening on your behalf, behind the scenes, for your highest good. It really is happening. And where it's leading you is exactly where you want to be. And there is like a little element of blind faith here, though. I will say, with the Fool being here twice, there is like a blind trust that's going on with this energy. I'm not going to lie, it's challenging. And it's going to require a lot of tenaciousness and a lot of hard work with that Capricorn card. But the opportunity is ripe. For whoever is resonating with this message, you might take away that you're on the right track. Everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. And so kind of keeping that in the back of your mind, that regardless of what is thrown at you day after day after day, stay the course, right? Stay the course. Don't allow yourself to be deterred by outside influences or by anything else. Because you have such help behind the scenes. I mean, just call on your guides and call on spirit and cry out for help in those moments to help keep you focused and help keep you going. And do continue with a spiritual practice. It's so fundamental at this time. Truly. If nothing else, continue communing with spirit. Continue communing with spirit. All right. That's what I've got for our full moon in Aquarius reading. I hope this was helpful to somebody. If it was, please do like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on the next one.